we got snow today. Well, last night. It's actually melting now. Today I want to talk to you about Leica M6. All right, let's get this started. I've been wanting to do this video since the Leica M6 reissue came out. I think Leica did a good job of introducing that because some people says, well, why even M6? It's been around. I mean, it's Leica going back to film or something. But in my opinion, from a what should I say? From an emotional perspective, let's put it that way, non-rational, just emotional perspective, I think they should, because this is my M6. This is the M6 Classic, which is the same camera that Leica reintroduced. As you can see, that I think this is the only version. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe the M42 or M4P, one of those two, where the Leica did not use brass for the top and bottom, so they tried to kind of reduce the cost a little bit. As a result of it, some of the models significantly have rust. See this? You see all that? Looks like stars here. Those are, I think they call it a zinc rust. Here there's a rust underneath the finish here. This one feels like one of those old cars have those what do they call those? They call them cancers for the rust. It's like it's beneath. I was thinking one of these days I'm probably gonna grind this down. So see. I was jokingly call my M6 M6P because P stands for pimples, because there's so many rust in here. I love my camera though. That's the only flaw. I feel like without the reintroduction of the M6, the lineup of all the Leica rangefinder cameras, that's kind of the flaw. Feels like a left unfinished. I'm not sure M7 what material that is for the top and bottom cover or top and bottom plates are, but I feel like with the new reissue that they use the brass top and bottom, it's a excellent touch. Personally, I like the M6 Classic the best in terms of handling. So that's another thing I wanna in this video I wanna try to going over why I like my M6 the most. And I feel like any future Leicas, I'm gonna compare it on handling, compare it against the M6 to see if they're any closer or or not. So one thing I like about the M6 is because it feels like when it holds in the hand, it feels like it's a lot thinner of a body, and weight wise it's just right. And in my experience, like it just, for me, shooting film, not shooting film, but shooting with the rangefinder camera, with the optical finder, I just feel like I'm closer to my subject a lot more. I feel like I'm more involved with things I'm photographing, and that's something that inspired me wanting to shoot more, take the camera out more. So outside of the technical spec, that's for me that's very important. So so on this M6, let me I have a sliding rule here. Let's measure it. We're only gonna measure the area where my right hand is gonna hold. This is where, you know, what I feel about the handling of it. So let's see what we got here. Do I have a... Oh geez, thing is dead. Okay, well, we can't measure anymore. Just we'll do another day. It just feels good. In comparison, on the extreme case, like the M240, it's a much thicker body. You can tell, you can probably tell by lining up the top. It's about less than 1/4 inch, but thicker. It makes a huge difference in terms of handling, though. I have to say this. And also, the weight also plays a very important role. I brought a scale here, so we're gonna just do a quick measurement. Again, not super scientific. So just the body, and I'm gonna compare different models and see what we're getting here. So let's turn this on. Okay, so M6 with a roll of film inside, so that's why it's not scientific. So this one is about 1 pound and 4 ounces. Okay, 1 pound 4 ounces. Let's put it away here. Let's put the M240. I'm gonna also take the lens off. This is M240 with a battery and a memory card. This is 1 pound 8 ounces. How about M1? I have this M1. This M1 is essentially the same as M2 without the rangefinder. They made this camera for scientific purposes, so they didn't really need the rangefinder. I keep it because without the rangefinder, there's a different way of shooting it, because you had to estimate the distance, but at the same time, you don't have to worry about the rangefinder go out of alignment either. So, but without rangefinder, the camera is definitely a lot lighter. And this one is only, well, this is 1 pound and 3 ounces, 3.8 ounces. So I guess it's very similar to the M6. Well, that's also because the top and bottom are brass. So that might be the reason why the M6 is a little lighter in terms of it doesn't have a rangefinder, right? So considering this is like an M2. Let's see what M2 is. This is 1 pound 4 ounces, 4.8 ounce. 1 pound 4.8 ounce. The M1 is 1 pound 3.8 ounce. So I guess the rangefinder weigh about 1 ounce. This one is a Leica M3 dual range, and this one has a okay, there's no film inside. Okay, so I'm gonna take the front caps off. This is 1 pound 4.9 ounce, so 0.1 ounce heavier. 0.1 ounce heavier than the M2. This is the M3. This one has some film. This is the M3, the late M3. Let's take everything that's adding to the weight. Again, this is not scientific. This weighs about 1 pound 5.5 ounce. Of course, like I said, this one has a roll of film in it, so it might be slightly heavier because you have to add the weight. What about, how about the M10-R? Okay, 1 pound 6.9 ounce. Huh, so technically the M10-R is a little bit heavier. Is that on that right? No. So M240 is still 1 pound 8.1 ounce. So yeah, so M240 is still about 2 ounces heavier. Just for the sake of measurement, how about Leica Q2. This is Leica Q2 monochrome actually. This is with the lens. You have 1 pound 10.5 ounce. How about Leica Q? Take the cap off. Okay, 1.9 ounce. So this one is slightly lighter than the Q2. So 1.9, and this one is 1 pound 10.5. 1 pound 10.5 ounce. So, okay. Well, I take the cap off because when you take pictures, the cap is off. So this is strictly on how it feels when you take the picture. I guess what I'm trying to conclude, well, actually, let's test one more thing. How about the Canon 7, the one, this one has a roll of film in it, so that's 1 pound, well, let me see, 1 pound 6.7 ounce. Okay, so in terms of weight, like I said, I like the camera to be closer to the M6. Well, let's go back to M6. What did we say again? 1 pound 4 ounces. So the camera that's closest, I suppose, 1 pound 4 ounces is the Leica M2, because this is 1 pound 4.8 ounces, very similar to M6. This might be, I don't know why, but to me, it's probably why I like, after the M6, I really like the M2. But also, there's other factor involved, right? Because you have the rangefinder patch, the frame line, all the other stuff, the magnification on the rangefinder, and stuff. So there's that too. So other factors. But in terms of weight, it feels like the handling wise, that's the closest. Where all other Leicas are much heavier. It's probably, it's most non-scientific, especially when I weigh the Leica Q and the Q2, because the lens is now removable. So I'm also weighing the lens. But in terms of handling, though, I do feel that the Q or in the Q2, especially the Q actually, it feels closest to the Leica M6 because they're a little bit thinner, Well, this is the M10-R, right here. It feels just, feels right. It feels right, and it doesn't feel very heavy at all. Partially because, it's, like I said, it's all about perception, right? You have a camera with a lens, you kind of mentally feel like you're supposed to be heavier, but when you pick it up, it's not that heavy you think it is. So it really, plays kind of a mind trick on you. Whereas like M10R, it's probably the same as M10. It's a very heavy. Remember we weighed this weigh at what is it? 1 pound and 10 ounces. Well, no, 1 pound and 6.9 ounce. So it's quite significant. Like with the lens, let's say this is a 50 mil Voigtlander lens without the cap. Now we're talking about 2 pounds and 1 ounce. So it's quite heavy. So it really makes a big difference. However, I do like the fact that the M10R has, it's a little bit thinner body. So handling wise, it's getting very much closer to the M6. Even though it still feels, maybe it's because on the digital M's has this little dial with a little hump here for help you grip, but to me it makes me feel like the camera is thicker, whereas there's nothing here, so it feels, the camera feels a little bit thinner. So I guess I'm not too big of a fan. I would love to have this dial here, but I really don't like this little hump. Some people probably disagree with me. But M6 is not, you know, entirely perfect either. There are a few things I want to talk about. The reason why I have this M6, I bought this from Japan in the COVID year 2020. It came like this. And one of the reasons I bought the M6 like this is because I want a user. I don't want to be a collector, and this allows me to save about $1,000 just because the condition is not great. As long as, you know, for me, I'm I'm picky on cameras with a dent, and as long as there's no dent, you know, overall the body looks, you know, good with these, you know, pimples or the zinc, the rust. It's fine with me. It doesn't bother me. In fact, it makes me want to take it out more often because I don't really have to worry about, you know, I will be accidentally put a scratch here and there, even though I kind of care about the scratches too, but you know what I mean. So so if you're looking for deals on the M6 and looking for something, you know, just looking for ones that, you know, collector won't want it, then you'll be fine. You know, if you're looking for something you can use. The flaw on the M6, I feel like this rewinding knob here, it's very iconic. Like only M6 I think has this little sidewinder, which is fine. But I noticed that the other day, if you put a strap on it, right, sometimes this strap will push on this. Also depends how you wear it, because sometimes the angle of the strap go that way, but I almost feel like it's an afterthought in some ways because this, you know, sticks to the side, which is kind of an issue. I personally really like the smaller dial. This is called the Leica M6 Classic. The slightly newer one is called the M6 TTL. The dial is much bigger, and also the change of the shutter speed is the other way. It's reverse from this. So the other thing I don't like about this M6, where the TTL has, I think it's important, is there is an off. You can turn the meter off, whereas this one you cannot. I have going through battery quite quickly, particularly because of the camera's draining its battery. I don't know if it's just the model I have right now that has some issues, or but and also the metering is kind of a I would say it's not very user friendly. I mean, it's workable because inside it just gave you arrows, but it's I much prefer it gave me like a display of the proper exposure shutter speed or something like that. That'd be, you know, great. So right now I just simply take the battery out and use the camera almost like a M4P without the meter. So, and that's a problem. But the main thing is I don't see a lot of this on the YouTube or other people video talking about the zinc rust on the Leica M6. This is what kind of it looks like. Looks like a tiny, what should I say? If you can feel it, most of them, not all of them, you can feel it, but most of these you can feel it, and you can't get it off. I don't know. Some people, some Leica user, they will just pay, have these replaced. But I'm gonna use this camera to shoot, so it really doesn't matter. I was told that these zinc spots is gonna get worse over time. Again, you know, whatever, right? If it really at some point it's just so bad, well, hopefully that the new introduction of the M6 can share parts with this camera, and then I can just have the top and bottom replaced, probably the top with the brass brass top. But yeah, it's if somebody has OCD on this kind of thing, it's definitely gonna drive you nuts. But yeah, I feel like this is probably from like just something with a lot of moisture or something caused it. Because when the camera came in a package, it came with a leather half case, so that probably also traps the moisture as well. I don't know, but one thing I really do like about the M6 is hot shoe. Some of the Leica models doesn't have the hot shoe. And you also have a PC connection here too, so it's cool. I normally don't use this if I have a hot shoe. I do like the silver film counter against the black. It's just a lot easier, very contrasty, a lot easier to see. That's one thing about the Leica M2, that some people really like this simplified style, but in my mind I always feel like I can accidentally bump it, so it may not be accurate. But in real practice, probably I really haven't really changed this in my pocket. So that's one thing. I really prefer the little window here versus this style, because in this style you also have to reset to 0 manually after you install the film. So all in all, right, see it right here, the rewind knob is more flush. It's kind of nice, but it, you can see that there's a dent here from the strap. Some that like them out on newer models has this little bumper, which is interesting because the Leica M240 has a 2, but I don't know why the Leica M10-R doesn't. I know I've seen some people use a black electric tape, just tape it this side so it wouldn't wear out the finish, but I don't know why they take that out. Certainly on the Q models they don't have any of that. Let's see. In fact, on the Q2, as much as I like it, you can see all the paint losses here. I haven't yet to find a better strap that doesn't wear out these paint here. You can tell that top is definitely not brass. Looks like maybe magnesium. It's white, gray color. But yeah, so not cool, not cool. I don't know. Only way I can think that it wouldn't wear out the finish is use the peak design strap and just use the tripod hole holding it upside down. But yeah, this lugs are not cool. I mean, I can understand because the design, the edges are very sharp, so it's a lot easier to wear out the paint here. But at the same time, it's interesting because on the Q2 it seems like top and bottom are metal, whereas on the Q might be plastic. I don't know, but certainly the paint is much better condition. This is what they call it, a Q2 titanium. So really just a titanium color. I don't think these are titanium. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm kind of mumbling through this, but yeah. So if you're in the market looking for a camera, really, I would recommend you to have some hands-on experience. Hold on to the camera and see if that's something inspire you to take out and shoot more often. That's very important. Outside of the technical spec. So yeah, it's really an individual preference. For me, I just love the handling of the M6 film camera. So I want to use this as my golden standard to compare against other Leicas. You see, obviously I have all these models because they have a different feature set that I like the M3. I'll shoot a lot of 50mm. The rangefinder is great for the M6, or the M2. That I don't have the 28mm frame line so in my way, so it's I feel like a lot cleaner when I shoot the 35mm lens. I would definitely pick the M2 over, like, say, other M models well, probably won't be picking over my M6, but you know, depends on the application, the lens selection, of course. But anyways, so well, I hope you like this video, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.